Hello and welcome to the Marketing Shed. This is the weekly musings of myself, Warren Fiveash, and my colleague and friend Paul Duxbury, as we kind of talk about everything going on in the marketing world right now. So whether you're listening on an audio device or whether you're watching on YouTube, we hope you enjoy the show. How you doing, Paul? You good?
I am good. I am good. But as I said, I've got a bit of a cold coming, which I'm trying to get rid of. But I've got a positive mental attitude, and I'm trying. I always do this. I always say it will go away, but the reality isn't always like that, is it? So I'm hoping this one will go away through the power of my positive mental attitude, but I might get struck down at some point.
But I do believe in that. I do believe in that, Paul. I'm similar. I will wake up. My wife and kids have got a bug at the moment, and so I'm like, I'm not going to get this bug. I'll wake up in the morning. I'm not going to get it. I'll be all right, and I hope that sees me through. And I think even if you get it, maybe it would have been a little bit worse if you hadn't had that positive mental attitude.
Yes.
So that's the way.
Yes.
That's another way of looking at it. So.
Yes, and load up with the vitamin C. That is the answer.
So how you been? What you been up to recently, Paul? Have you been out and about in the kind of marketing world at Haven Lake?
Yeah. It has been super busy. I have to say, I'm a little bit stressed at the moment because I've been asked to do a new training course, which is using Copilot for marketing. And it's quite stressful because the canvas is huge. I mean, where do you start and where do you finish? And the other challenge is that what's true today changes tomorrow in terms of functionality and use cases. So I'm a bit stressed because I've got to get this training course written, but I know that once it's written and ready to go, it will probably be out of date. Yeah. And every time I run it, I'll have to be updating it like the day before, just saying, well, what's changed? Who's brought out a tool that's better than Copilot, or have Copilot brought out some new functionality? So that has been rather occupying me for the last 3 or 4 days.
There's always a new article, isn't there, about or a new comment on AI. Every day it seems like something new's been added, a new bit of software, a new way that marketers can apply AI. It must be, I don't envy you in a way with that, Paul. It must be really tricky.
It is tricky.
When you're doing the course itself, I wonder if people, like you said, by the time you've got it out, there's things that have kind of been updated and maybe outdated it slightly. So you're trying to kind of keep up as you kind of deliver it in a way, aren't you?
Yeah, but what is interesting is that I think AI's got a lot to offer when it comes to the written word at the moment. So if you're writing a brief or a report, I think AI is super helpful. Yeah. You can sort of do a brain dump and then AI will sort it into a coherent sort of report or set of words. Where it's tricky is using Copilot in things like Excel and PowerPoint, where it's just a bit clunky. But I reckon everybody needs to start engaging with it now, even though it's clunky, because it won't be clunky forever. And it might take 3 months, it might take 3 years, but at some point we will be able to say, this is my idea for a new campaign. Please go away and create a selling tool that describes it, and you'll get back a decent PowerPoint deck that will enable you to communicate the idea simply and effectively. So even though it's clunky, I think marketers have to get involved now. But I think using it for things like using it within Microsoft Word is the current thing. Anyway, that's what I've been up to, or one of the things. I can tell you more, but how about you, Warren? What have you been up to? What's been going on in the CCT?
Well, I've been out and about a little bit actually. So I went to a panel event recently. I was on a panel. I'm very lucky to be invited to do a panel session with the Little Grey Sales Club, which is run by a chap called the brilliant Tim Healy. He does a great job with it actually. So is that
his name? The brilliant Tim Healy.
The brilliant Tim Healy, yeah, that's what he goes by. That's his name. You got to call him, yeah, brilliant before his name. Yeah, no, he's great, and he basically he runs these clubs every kind of couple of months, and it's around 80 kind of marketers. And I was very lucky to be invited to be on the panel to talk and express some of the things that I've been through. And it was about building good marketing teams, and actually, a lot of the themes, as everything seems to come back to at the moment, was around AI actually. And some of the things we just touched on and how people are using it. And actually, there was a big debate and a big discussion around, because we had some roundtables after the panel, around actually getting the balance right between AI and the kind of human element of marketing, and making sure that, everything isn't just technological focused, essentially. And there was we had a really good chat around a lot of the same problems actually that a lot of people are facing. I think I was the only person representing the charity sector, so I felt very privileged to be there. But a lot of the problems around siloed working. There's a real mix of people that are in the hybrid space. Some people that have gone back to the office full time. Some people that are fully remote. There's a real mix of different ways people are working, and then how you get round the kind of remote working. Putting a half-hour Teams meeting. I think people's diaries are full of them. Half an hour Teams meetings, and actually what that's doing is it's kind of actually making you more siloed in a way. And so
I think that's true. It's funny in that I don't know about you, but I ask people permission now before I ring them.
Yeah.
And it was 4 years ago, you just pick up the phone or you would just ping somebody, but now it feels like an invasion of privacy.
It does.
It's bizarre.
It really does. We actually spoke about that, and we've been doing this at Teenage Cancer Trust, we're going to try and make this a little bit more in the culture around just picking up the phone rather than sending a brief or an email, or actually just having a quick chat around a particular area if you're not sure about it, because actually it probably saves you a lot of time. You go around the process of sending a brief in, and then someone reviews it and tries to make sense of it. You put in a half-hour meeting. Actually, it probably could have been a 5-minute chat, and then you can do the brief, and it would be way more efficient. So I think there is something about the kind of behaviours that have been set from the pandemic, and actually, I think there's a moment now where people are sitting back and thinking, actually, what is the right way going forward? And so it was a really interesting debate, and I think there's lots I took away from that. So it was really valuable for me. I love going to those things just to kind of get out of your.
And here's the question: if you were running your own business, you were, the Mark Zuckerberg of your business, would you mandate 5 days in the office?
That's a really good question, Paul. Do you know what? I don't think I wouldn't, because I think I've got 2 little kids. So I guess I'm probably going to say that, because actually the way my life is, it suits me to be flexible. And I see that with other people, and I see the maybe some of the situation. Everyone's got different situations, right? So actually having a bit of flexibility in your work actually is really helpful. I think that helps productivity. So I don't think I'd mandate 5 days, but I think I'd have a kind of balanced approach to kind of coming into the office.
You see, here's an idea. I think what I would do is I would do core hours, like 10 till 4. So you've got flexibility for childcare.
Yeah.
And I think I'm making this up, but I think I might do a month on, month off. So 5 days for a month, and then you revert to maybe 2-3 days for a month, then 5 days. And that way, you maybe that's the best of both worlds.
Interesting, yeah. And what do you think the benefit of that would be? Would that be that you still you get more of that time, at least 1 month, kind of every other month, so people are quite in a lot of contact, and then you're still giving that, but you're still giving that flexibility for a month. So you take it. Yeah. I like that. That sounds good. I must admit, I was in the office on a Friday recently, and I do think there is something. Fridays are totally different now, right? Like no one goes in the office on a Friday, it feels like.
No.
So it was very quiet, and the sort of post-work drink.
Well, bizarrely, Friday is almost like, if you want to get some work done, you go to the office now because it's quiet.
Yeah, I know. Bizarre. Yeah, and it was like that. It was definitely like that. I think Thursday's the new day for going out for an after-work drink as well, isn't it? It's
totally
quickly become that. So that's what I've been up to.
Nice, like it. Shall I tell you what I've noticed in the world of marketing this week?
Yeah, go for it.
I've got a good one. A good one. So I was at Forest Green Rovers on
I
Saturday.
saw that, Paul.
Yes, yes, with the brilliant Dale Vince. I mean, what a legend! I think I put in my LinkedIn post. He's managed to combine having principles with running a successful business with his ecotricity business.
Yeah,
Anyway, at Forest Green Rovers, which is brilliant, you should go there. Fantastic grounds, really welcome. There was a Specsavers sign. You may have seen these because I can't believe this is the only one. And it's a canvas banner, obviously printed locally, and it said goal and had a big arrow. So it's in the corner of the pitch, big arrow pointing towards the goal. It said goal. And then it says should have gone to Specsavers
oh, brilliant,
Stroud. And
lovely.
I thought, what a campaign idea that is, that it could be made relevant to not
Yeah,
only a football match, but a football match in Stroud at Forest Green Rovers. And whether it was taken from a playbook that the head office issued or whether it was a local initiative, I don't know. I suspect the former. I just thought it's great because everybody was looking at it and pointing it out and having a
oh,
laugh about it.
Specsavers are that is the gift that keeps giving. That right, that tagline. It just seems to work everywhere, doesn't it?
Well, it's so campaignable, and I noticed that Marketing Week gave it an award
Yeah,
this week. I think I got brand of the year or something.
yeah,
Um, and it's notable, isn't it, that it's a privately owned company. So that suggests to me that there's a bit more stability and continuity.
yeah.
I just I just wonder with the marketing team when people come into senior roles because they must change around from time to time.
How do they keep that
Yeah,
consistency?
or does somebody go, "Hey, I've got a new idea. Let's try a new campaign," and
Yeah, yeah.
everybody goes, "No, no."
If it's written in blood, you can't change it.
Yeah,
That's contracted.
yeah. And I wonder if the challenge is how do you keep such a long-running campaign fresh?
Yeah,
And there's loads of topical opportunities. They're brilliant at the guerrilla
yeah.
marketing and the tactical stuff. So maybe that's how they do it. But equally, does that mean the marketeers from time to time are thinking if only we could, build a brand from scratch and
Yeah, yeah.
start with a new idea because you know what marketers are like. They love
Do something
creating
new.
stuff.
You don't, yeah.
Yes, yes.
I think there is something in what you've just discussed, which I see quite a lot. It's like making stuff relatable in a local area. So the specs that is a really good example of brands are doing this more. I think using the kind of core idea, but then making it kind of localized, like local to a specific area. And I know they use sport. They've been using sport quite a lot. Specsavers, haven't they? They did a big campaign with the worst ever football team. I think it was, which I think
Oh, really? I haven't seen
some
that.
starting awards. So yeah, but Forest Green Rovers. I'm always really intrigued about them and going there and kind of trying it out. Crawley Town went there last season, I think, which is my hometown. My dad went there and he said it was great. So yeah,
Yeah, I think they're building a new stadium and they're doing a lot of stuff in the community. And Robbie Savage is the current manager, and he said,
yeah,
look, we're seeking to grow talent, grow the team, not by taking players who've come down from other higher
yeah,
divisions, by taking younger people and developing them and investing in the academy. So
great.
so they are thinking a little bit differently about how they grow the club. So that was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. I thought it's a nice little marketing sort of highlight for me. How about you? What have you noticed last week or so?
You just made me think of something. It's not recent. I saw it a while ago, but there's a kind of phrase that Lucky Saint used around they call it fresh consistency. So you were talking about that consistent approach that Specsavers have, but like marketers always want to do something new, but they have this kind of approach that they build into their ethos around. They've got a core idea, which is the nun. I don't know if you've seen the ads. They've got
Yeah, yeah.
the nun, and it's like thou shall drink. I think it's along those lines. I can't remember. Don't quote me on
Thou shalt
that.
drink. I'm not sure that's quite the.
Something. I don't think the CMO will thank me for not remembering that. But but they've got lots of different versions of it, and I think they try to basically apply that mantra of keeping fit. And I think that applies to Specsavers, is like that kind of fresh consistency thing. I guess the other thing I saw, and it kind of goes back to what I was talking about at the start, really, Paul. Sorry to bang on about this again, but I saw recently in the kind of news in the marketing week, I think the UK TV have just appointed their director of marketing and AI, which I thought was interesting. So they've put it in the job title, and I just wondered what that means for other kind of marketing functions. I suppose it just really jumped out at me that someone's kind of putting this in the job title and really kind of embedding this into the it reminds me a bit of maybe back in the day when digital kind of marketing was kind of the thing, and that was kind of jumping into everyone's job title. And actually, I wonder if we're going to go through a little bit of that kind of with this kind of shift to looking.
It's a weird one, that UK marketing and AI director. Is that right?
I think it's that. Yeah.
Yeah, because like you say, I mean, AI affects everything, and I do buy into the idea that AI is going to affect marketing disproportionately, at least in the short term, as well as a couple of other functions. But I'd love to see the remit for that, because I think, of course, everybody should have AI featuring in the work they're doing, regardless of level or function.
Yeah.
So I wonder what they've got in mind, and whether it's particular aspects of AI that they're looking for that person to take on board. Maybe we should ask them.
Yeah. I think maybe we should, or maybe I'll get in touch and see.
Yeah, do.
Yeah, because I think there's something about, and what I think is good about it is it's kind of getting it on the agenda, I suppose, and really putting it centre of focus, I suppose, for marketing teams, and making sure that it is kind of central to kind of thinking about like how can that help us. But I guess there's a danger you can lean too hard into it, can't you? By putting it in as the kind of lead. It's like you said, it depends on the remit, doesn't it, of what that role is. So
yeah, it does. And just going back to non-alcoholic beverages.
Yeah.
Is a bit of a bugbear of mine. But have you noticed that it's quite difficult to get non-alcoholic beer on draft? There are more places doing it, but it's not the norm. And that means that if you buy a round, if you're with drinkers, they get a pint of lager, pint of Guinness, whatever. You get, as a non-drinker, a 330ml bottle of whatever the non-alcoholic beer lager is. And that's really annoying if you're in a round, because you obviously finish your non-alcoholic beer much quicker.
Yeah.
And then you're sat around, and also it feels like you're shortchanged because someone buys a round, or if you buy a round, you're buying pints for everybody else, and you just get a measly one bottle for yourself. Which brings into question, why do we drink pints?
Yeah.
And if you think about it, you don't drink a pint of anything really.
No,
I mean, no one says, a pint of, well, I suppose you have a pint of orange juice if you're really thirsty, but you don't really buy pints. And all Coke and so on, they're all in 330ml cans. So I wonder if there's a bit of an existential crisis in the industry, because as more and more people are going non-alcoholic, it's kind of threatening pint drinking, and the economics are all built around pints.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's very much a cultural thing, that, isn't it? I think here that you're expected to have a pint. And like you say, why would you have a pint of anything, really? You don't have a pint of orange, well, you might do, but you don't really have a pint of orange juice.
But you'd have one, wouldn't you? You wouldn't have 4 pints of orange juice.
But when I went to Australia, this is a long time ago, but you have schooners, right? So I don't know if they're half.
What's a schooner?
It's like half pint. It's like 3/4 of a pint, I think, in Australia.
Right.
So you don't have a full, or it's half, 3/4, I think. So it's a smaller glass, and then and I remember going there thinking, oh, why don't we have that back home? That's a much better way of drinking. But you do feel like maybe there's something there, right? Maybe there's something marketable there, that a new product or a new way of drinking that someone will come up with, one of the beer companies, and shift the kind of behaviours of people. You never know.
Break the pint paradigm. Yeah, that could be it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you do have the smaller cans, don't you, that seem to be more popular these days. So, like Brewdog, you have the kind of half can, don't you?
Yes. But in a pub, it's... Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've thought that before. I've wondered that. But I think there is something, and actually, not to keep bigging up Lucky Saint, there are other brands available, obviously, but I think they are obviously they're the only non-alcoholic. They only do non-alcoholic lager beer, so they're really
And they've got an IPA as well. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Lucky Saint. I like them.
they're trying to drive, aren't they? So
Yeah.
you never know. In a few years, it might be it won't be the pints.
I would like it if they perhaps shook it up a bit, but there is a local pub that serves Lucky Saint on draft, so
Yeah,
maybe that's the direction. Who knows?
yeah. Well, what do you think's next then, Paul? What's next? I guess in the marketing world, do you think what's coming up?
What's coming up? Christmas is coming up, but of course Christmas was all put to bed round about August, wasn't it? So everything we see now. So what's coming next is probably holiday promotions and Valentine's Day and Easter, I suspect.
Yeah.
But in terms of big trends, I don't know. I'm interested. Next week I'm going to the Effies, the grand presentation, because I work with EdCom, the academic body that links universities that do courses in communications. As part of that, I have judged the European Effies this year, and I'm going to see the presentations in Brussels next week.
Amazing.
And I think that'll be quite interesting because you always get a bit of an insight there into what is really, really good and what might be coming down the pipeline. So I don't know. I can't really answer your question right now, but I'll report back after I've been there. And what I noticed, doing the judging is the bar is pretty high. If you get a silver Effie or even a bronze Effie, you're pretty good. If you get a gold or a platinum, you're exceptional. So I'll take a look and see what examples I can bring back to share in terms of where things are going.
Really interesting to see that.
Mm.
Have you done it? Is it the first time you've been involved in that?
First time I've judged. Getting all judgy. I went to the presentation last year, which was really good. Hence why I'm going again this year.
Yeah.
But the judging is quite tough doing the judging. It's funny. I was both impressed and annoyed in that one of my fellow judges works at a university in The Hague, and he actually got his students to do the judging with him. So not for him, but with him. And I thought I was so jealous. I thought it's a brilliant idea because you can share the load and you can get different opinions and diverse range of opinions. But I just thought, I wish I'd thought of that. Because it's a really nice, as opposed to being in a room looking at the entries, because it's quite paper intensive. There's a lot of words you've got to read, and then you've got to check the criteria. So I was impressed and jealous.
I've done some judging before for the Marketing Week Awards, and I love it. I love doing it because you get to read we're all in depth on kind of people's what people have been up to, what brands have been up to, and some really great work. But like you said, it's a lot of reading and a lot of really hard decision making actually. And I really enjoy we get together with the other kind of judging panel, the rest of the judging panel. We debate kind of the best entries, and there's some good discussion around stuff. So it's really valuable doing those things, I think. Yes,
but I think I wouldn't want to do it every year. I think I'd want to do it maybe once every 2 or 3 years, just to keep fresh. Yeah. So how about you? What's happening for you the next week or so?
So for me, I've been off work the last few days, so it's been a little bit quiet.
I thought you looked relaxed. That explains it.
trying to be, but I have not actually got many plans, I guess, to go out in the run up to Christmas. So it's very quiet. Just kind of getting your head down and focusing on the kind of work side. But I think there's a thought just percolating in my head post budget stuff. So I think the last few years it's been quite. I'm kind of looking ahead to January already, I suppose. I was getting ahead of myself, but thinking about how we can be a bit more optimistic about stuff. There's a lot of noise, isn't there, about, there's a lot going on in the world right now, and there's a lot of noise around the budget and the concerns around that. But I think there's something on marketers to really look at like the opportunities that there are, and I think maybe there's something in kind of going into the new year. I want to go into the new year feeling really optimistic about stuff and focusing on the opportunities that there are.
I quite like that because I think Richardson and others talked about, maybe there's a sort of roaring 20s around the corner. It feels like we've kind of missed the boat because it's
Yeah.
2025.
Yeah.
But maybe it's a roaring 30s or roaring back end of the 20s. That yeah, I quite like that because I'm an optimist by
Yeah.
character. So yeah. Let's hope you're right.
Yeah. I mean, there's been challenges, right, for marketers over the last couple of years, but I think there's something in, marketers really kind of leaning into that. We talked about it earlier, that creativity and the imagination, and they've got to kind of really find the areas of opportunity and growth. And I think there's been a bit, just really standing up to that, I suppose. So I think that's I'm kind of with that mentality to 2026. That's my
Love
view
it.
for the week.
Brilliant. I'm going to take on board your optimism and get back to my co-pilot for marketing
Yes.
training with a new vigor and vim. It's going to be fine.
Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I've got a day off today, Paul. So I'm gonna go and chill out for a little bit and
Okay, you. Oh,
so. On that
I'm
note,
quite jealous. I think yeah. I enjoy and well deserved. I'm sure. Thanks, Warren.